Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, a big hello to you too. Today's video is a Scrawlrbox on opening, and it's a monthly art subscription box which I have recently restarted back up. So let's take a look inside. So I'm just popping the menu to one side and pulling out a strange credit card, a mini canvas, so it looks like a painting project, paint. I think they might be oils, but I'll have a look in a minute. As you can see, there's 3 there. I've also got a paintbrush, a pencil and a lollipop, and there is the picture and the print from the artist. I'm just having a little look through that, as you can see, and a piece of parchment and a sticker. So diving into this a little more, the featured artist of this month is Katie Jobling, and if you pause on the video you should be able to see her social media. So looking through, these oil paints appear to be water mixable, if that makes any sense. I've got a titanium white, ultramarine and primary magenta. Now I've not used water mixable oils before, so this should be interesting. The pencil we've got is a Derwent sketching pencil in 2B, and the paintbrush is branded Scrawlrbox. It says on the card it's a Zarn custom flat synthetic universal brush suitable for all paint types, which is great. And that strange credit card thing, I believe, is a palette knife. These oil paints upon opening do not smell like oil paint, so I guess that's where the water-based side comes in, and that's really good because it is hot in the UK at the moment and I do not want to be sitting around those fumes. The Derwent Sketcher pencil is your typical 2B pencil, and it's not very likely I'm going to use it on such a tiny canvas in case it lifts off with the paint, so I'll probably take it to a live drawing class. Now I've squeezed the paints out onto the parchment paper, and what I'm going to do, because I've got quite a limited palette to work with here, I've only got 3 different pigments, I'm going to get a few tonal variations with the pink, well the magenta, and a few with the ultramarine, and then I'm going to make a bluey purple and a reddy purple, so I've got a bit to work with there. And I've noticed how they do feel a lot like oil paints. I haven't got a massive amount of experience with them. I have painted in oils before. It's not a preferred medium that I go to, but I do find these do feel quite similar using them with a brush. And I'm not using my Scrawlrbox brush with them just yet. I'm literally just mixing them up with the brush. And I know I could use the palette knife, but it scares me. Just a quick note as well, the Scrawler challenge for the month is Abstract Floral, and I'm thinking maybe a cherry blossom. And now you can see I've got quite a few more colours to work with now. So moving on to the canvas, I'll just get it open. It's pretty much, well, it's a tiny canvas board, so it's not stretched canvas, and what I'm going to do is add the background in a glaze. I'm not sure if I can say that with it being water based, and I'm just adding water to the paint, adding a lot of white in because I really want quite a pale background to work on. What I did find quite curious about the paints, again with them being water based, was would it affect the drying time, because I know oil paints can take forever to dry, and with it being a hot day and it being diluted with the water, was it going to evaporate out and be hard to work with? But I was quite pleased once I'd got the paint working into the canvas that it stayed wet, and I'm a few hours into recording the voiceover here and it is still wet, so I'm give it credit, it works pretty well. I did find when putting it straight directly onto the canvas it did take some working in, but once I dipped my brush into the water it seemed to smooth out and have quite a nice even coverage. I still did have to work it in quite a bit though, the canvas was quite thirsty with it. That first layer is now complete, and I'm going in with different tones of the blue to build a gradient for the sky. I'm really impressed with how well these are blending. I did think they'd be a little like acrylics to start off with, but they actually do feel like oils to paint with. I tend to find when blending acrylics, because you've got the different transparencies, well, I have in my experience, the paint can become quite streaky, but this is blended like a dream. I'm just breaking up the other areas as well, just to give the impression of clouds, but I'm not going too far with the detail. After all, this is an abstract project. It's time to start using that scary palette knife. I tend to just use brushes, so this is good. It's pushing me to try something new. What I've done here is I've sort of dabbed and dragged as I've gone along to set the detailing out for the branches, and I'll work in the other branches as I go along. I want to paint them in first before the blossom. I was quite surprised actually how effective it was using the palette knife in this way. I thought it would be quite awkward, but I actually found I'd got quite a nice amount of control with putting the branches down and mixing the colour up as well. It meant I could be quite consistent. Now it's time to add some of the blossom in, and I've decided to use the pointy part of the palette knife I'd created. But I must admit I found it quite tricky to do, so I didn't use the brush side, I used the brush handle to put the blossom on with. So I still stepped out of my comfort zone, and I'm pretty pleased with myself for that. It really does sit on top of the canvas with a thicker application like an oil does as well. So I'm having to go in and mix some more of that same colour up. I wanted to use darker colours to start off with as well. It did advise on the sheet to use the darker colours first. Obviously didn't do that with the background, but it's not been an issue here. But it did say it can lift the white through, but it's not on this occasion, but I will add the lighter colours afterwards. I've completely forgot to review the sweet that came with it. I am so sorry. It was a blue lollipop. It was incredibly sour to start off with, and then it went quite nice and sweet, and it was gone within 2 minutes. So there's the review of the lollipop, just in case you were all wondering. So as I've stepped out of my comfort zone for the Scrawlrbox challenge, do you guys have any ideas of what you'd like me to try next? If you have, just leave it in the comments below and I'll have a look through and I'll see if I can dig through my existing art materials and check if I've already got it, and I'll do a project. It's time to start adding the lighter tones in, and I must admit, whilst doing this project, the palette knife has seemed a little less scary and just ideal actually for adding little bits. The brush itself was too thick and the handle was getting too thick to do the detail, so actually it was ideal, and the customization of it has really helped. So I'm quite impressed with this one, Scrawlrbox. If you want to try Scrawlrbox yourself, I'm not sponsored by any means here, but I will leave a link to it in my description and you can have a check out yourselves. We've got the previous boxes on there as well, so you get a rough idea of how much you get per month and the different projects and tasks you get set. Time for those final highlights, so I'm just going straight in there with the titanium white, and I'm really happy with how this has come out. I didn't expect that I'd be able to do it. I don't paint flowers very often, I don't paint in oils very often, and I certainly don't use a palette knife, but I'm pretty pleased with how this has come out. And this is what I like about Scrawlrbox when you've got a project. To be honest, perhaps another canvas board to work with would be nice, because I've got quite a lot of oils now, and as I tend not to use canvases, I tend not to have them in, so I'm going to have to, well, they're going to sit on the shelf until I get more canvases. But this has been quite a good box and I'm very happy with what I've done. I'm happy how it's pushed me to try something new as well. And there it is, time for the signature, and I'd say we're all done. Just a quick recap of what was inside the box, minus the lollipop because I did eat that. And there's the finished piece. Just want to say thank you so much for watching, and if you've watched any of my other videos, that's great. And if you're new here, make sure you check out the other ones. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, bye!